In today's video, we're back at the airsoft field and we're going to be testing overrated airsoft guns. Most of these Pew Pew toys were actually released this year, so they're brand new, and since their release have gathered lots of hype and popularity. And in today's video, we're going to be testing them all out to see if they're overrated or they're worth the hype. So let's start out with the bang and start with an airsoft minigun. First up, in today's video, we have the Echo 1 PMG-5. That's right, guys, in this tiny little box, we have an entire airsoft minigun in here. Let's go ahead and take it out and check it out. This is the cheapest and lightest weight minigun on the market today, and it just came out this year. This thing only weighs in at about 4 pounds and comes in under $300. This thing has made quite a stride on social media after it came out a few months back. Everyone was trying to get their hands on this lightweight, cost-effective minigun. So of course, aside from it being super lightweight and cost-effective as well as a super compact size, what are some of the other cool features? Well, up here you get a full fire and safe mode right there, that little switch. And of course, this is where you load the BBs in this huge tube right there. It holds 1,200 BBs, and now you're probably thinking, well, how fast can this puppy shoot? Well, if you come down to this lower section right here and you open this section up, here's where you're actually going to store the 11.1 volt LiPo battery. A healthy 11.1 LiPo battery will cause these barrels to spin at 1,000 RPM. And of course, pairing it up with quad barrels, this thing's definitely going to shoot a crazy RPS. Let's first shoot this thing and see how it does. Woo! All right, looks like we're getting 254.3 FPS with actually 32.7 rounds per second, which is really high. All right, so we are about 50 feet away, pretty close. I'm gonna call this basically the headshot test. Will this thing actually still be accurate at that range? Wow. Pretty good.
The 50-foot headshot test was a piece of cake for this thing, surprisingly. Let's go back to 100 feet and see what this thing can really do. And to do that, we're actually going to need to turn up the hop-ups. And it's really cool. This thing actually has an independent hop-up for each barrel.
Wow, okay. This is actually not that bad. Clearly, it's not the most accurate airsoft gun in the world, but most of the shots actually were on the target. But overall, for a minigun, actually pretty decent. Now let's go back to 150 feet and see if it still hits the target. But I'd pretty much say that's the maximum range for this guy to be able to hit someone, about 150 feet away. Definitely way better than I was expecting for a minigun.
So now let's raise the question, is it overrated? It's the lowest price minigun on the market, it's lightweight, and honestly shoots pretty good too. So overall, I'd say this one is not overrated. Let's move on to the next one.
Up next, we have one of the most anticipated airsoft shotguns ever created. This is the Tokumuri Saga 12K. Depending on the model you get, this one comes in anywhere from $500 to $600 just for this airsoft shotgun. But is it overrated and worth the hype? There's only one way to test it out. Ooh, that's nice. You have the owner's manual actually in a Ziploc bag, which is very, very fancy. I've actually never seen a company do that before. All right, first up, let's get our grimy little hands on what's in this little box. All right, that's pretty much everything we got. We have a little feeding adapter for a speed loader to load up these magazines, a little... I don't even know what that is. A little barrel plug and some BBs as well. Let's first check out the magazine right here. Fun fact, this magazine actually holds 45 BBs in it. All right, now of course, let's take out the shotgun and see how this guy feels. Ooh, that feels nice. This platform is definitely based off of the AK platform, as you could feel right when you pick it up. But surprisingly, this thing is actually pretty lightweight. I was expecting this thing to be a lot heavier.
And funny enough, you load the magazine up just like an AK as well. It's got some awesome features as well, like a folding stock and 3 different barrels, so every time you shoot, 3 BBs come out. And my favorite part is it's equipped with a Saga specific blowback engine that uses a large piston which creates an intense blowback action.
All right, $600 for a shotgun. This better be good. Let's first take some test shots. Damn! That is probably one of the hardest kickbacks I've ever felt on an airsoft gun in my entire life. That is insanity. What the f? I like this thing. All right, enough messing around. We have some serious business to attend to, but this one obviously, as you guys know, is a 3-barrel shotgun. So to chronograph it, of course, we're gonna load 1 BB in the magazine and see if that works. This definitely, oh, that was terrible. All right, let's see how this goes. Damn, this kickback is just crazy. Okay, we didn't get the result I was quite looking for. We got 203.2 FPS with 0.38 joules. Definitely way lower than I originally thought. I wonder if it's something to do with like how this disperses gas through the 3 barrels and if it's kind of just not really working properly without all 3 BBs coming out of all the barrels. So instead of relying on our little science experiment right now, let's go ahead and put the real numbers on screen on what it's actually supposed to do. Obviously, we got a little taste to see what this thing was like at the Kornegov test, but now let's really see what this thing is like at a 50-foot shooting test for the headshots. Oh, that's pretty impressive even for a shotgun. All 3 of the BBs were basically on that little target. Wow, okay, definitely pretty solid. We also bought one more mag with this airsoft shotgun. Let's go ahead and do one more just because that's so satisfying. At 50 foot, this thing really shines. It is a shotgun after all. Damn, it's like so loud it like hurt my hearing. I can't even hear out this ear now. Damn. I love this iron sight style way more than any other shotgun too. It reminds me of like a real steel one with this little bead at the front and this like flat little bar right there. When I was a kid, I used to trap shoot a little bit, and it definitely reminds me of that shotgun I used to shoot as well. This thing is actually a really good weight. It's not too heavy, not too light. The trigger is very easy to press. It's not too like stiff or anything like that. It's very easy to actually acquire the iron sights from the actual setup itself. Really nice. The only real complaint I have so far with this one is the bolt system obviously is full metal and very like heavy, so it does make it for a really nice recoil. But the con to that is it's a little slow in my opinion, but it still shoots pretty damn fast. I don't even know another way to put on the run cam so I can show you guys what this thing looks like when it shoots. So that is gonna be our method of choice. It does have fixed hop up, so the ability for the BBs to actually get backspin and be able to go far is pretty limited with no hop up. So let's just see how this goes. So it is a shotgun shooting 3 BBs at once. So obviously most of the groupings are pretty much not even on the target. It's kind of peppered around all around the actual target itself, but a lot of them actually hit the actual box target itself, which is pretty impressive. I was thinking 75 feet was gonna be kind of the maximum range for the Saga 12, but honestly, I think we can go a little bit further. Let's try 125 feet now. But overall, pretty impressive, not gonna lie. I was definitely not expecting that. I thought 100 feet was gonna definitely challenge this one, but 125 feet, you could definitely still hit someone.
Well, now that all raises the question, is it overrated? It's super easy to shoot well, has great accuracy, and would be competitive on a CQB field even versus HB8 airsoft guns. This one was hard to decide if it was overrated or not. It's just so expensive, but it definitely provides a super unique experience, and it was one of my favorite airsoft guns I've actually ever shot. So I'd have to rate it, drum roll please, not overrated. This thing definitely deserves the hype, but damn, I wish it was cheaper.
Next up, we're definitely moving up in size. This is the Cybergun FN Herstal M249 light machine gun. Alright, so what do we get in the box? Looks like we have the full stock system back here. You attach that and that basically goes onto your shoulder right there. We have an M4 magazine, just a plain one, nothing special, and of course the M429 right here. It cannot be a light machine gun without a box mag, so we went ahead and purchased a separate one from A&K.
The M249 comes in at $245, but of course, if you get it with the box mag, the total package cost is $295.
We've resorted to putting the battery on the outside of the airsoft gun right there because, yeah, this little, I don't even know, compartment back there is pretty much useless for every battery I've ever seen. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and yeah, it's gonna look a little weird, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and put this on and check out what we're getting from the M249. Actually pretty solid. We're getting 383.8 FPS with 1.37 joules. Not too bad. And the last shot looks like we're getting 372.8 FPS with 1.61 joules. About an average of 1.6 to 1.7 joules and about 370 to 380 FPS. Now, of course, the fun thing, let's see the rounds per second. All right, definitely not the fastest thing I've ever seen. It looks like we're getting about 10 rounds per second. But of course, this isn't some super fast submachine gun that's supposed to clear a building. This is a support weapon. So shooting a little bit lower RPS and being able to fire longer is probably what this thing is supposed to be for. After a few more bursts, it looks like we're getting anywhere from like 9.2 to about 10.5 rounds per second. Alrighty, my initial impressions on the M249 as well as the 50-foot shooting test. Let's see how it goes. Straight away, this thing definitely does not feed very good.
Well, the box mag wouldn't work at all, so it's completely broken.
All right, we've resorted to a standard M format. Let's see if that changes it up. This is the one that actually came in the box. All right, way better that time. So far though, I'm noticing it pretty much just shoots like a standard AEG, nothing special, but it is an M249, so I guess that counts for something.
So to test out the range and accuracy of the M249, we tried 3 different tests. The first one we did was a simple 100-foot test, and it didn't seem to struggle too much. Obviously, it's not the most accurate airsoft gun in the world, but for a support weapon, you can easily hit a human-sized torso at about 100 feet away. Scooting back now to 150 feet away, it definitely started to struggle a little bit, but definitely was able to hit, if you spray enough shots, a human-sized target at 150 feet away. But now when we scooted back 25 feet more at 175 feet, that's when we saw a big struggle from this one. 175 feet definitely seemed to be about the maximum range for this guy. So how does the M249 shape up with our question of the video? Is it overrated? The M249 has been made widely popular in airsoft due to the US military using it, and of course, big popular airsoft YouTubers using it in their videos. But even these big YouTubers like Airsoft Alphons have HPA converted them due to feeding issues and lack of reliability in the stock form. Because of the one we have in the video, this one only comes in at $240, but the other ones that are full metal with basically these same internals cost over double that amount of money. So in my opinion, unless you're a die-hard M249 fan or don't mind modifying it, I think it's pretty safe to say you should probably stay away from these, and they're definitely overhyped. For the next airsoft gun, we actually have 2 separate boxes to go ahead and check out. We'll go ahead and put this baby one to the side and of course open the big one first. This is the Heretic Labs Article 1 by Overrated Airsoft, and as you can see, they're definitely not messing around. I mean, just look at this packaging. Nice. This particular model comes in at about $800. What do you get in the box? Well, it looks like you have a EPM PST magazine. You have a quick start guide in the box as well, kind of just telling you how to actually set it up. Ooh. All right, check this guy out. First impression, this is super lightweight. It's actually kind of crazy. It has a full skeleton upper receiver and full skeleton lower receiver as well, making this thing super lightweight. Of course, a full carbon fiber outer barrel as well. And of course, powering this guy up is a Inferno Gen 2 Wolverine engine. Ooh, that click is so satisfying. Now that we've checked out the airsoft gun, let's go ahead and see what's in our second little package. This, of course, is from the same brand as well. Let's go ahead and see what we got. Oops. This is the Heretic Labs tank grip. It comes in at $250. It actually changes the actual HPA system on this to be able to go from this little bottom grip out this little hose right there to be able to fully exchange it with this little grip right here to actually use a full paintball tank out the back right there. And it actually has a built-in regulator as well, so you don't have to run any type of external regulator. I'm sure you guys have seen lots of these like paintball marker looking builds around the airsoft field lately. I've seen so many videos about them, and well, it's now time to try it out. Let's see what it's actually chronographing at. So for this one, obviously it's HPA, so it's a little bit more customizable. What we have the regulator set to right now is about 100 PSI. We're gonna go ahead and test out what the FPS is for that. And of course for the RPS, it is fully customizable from 5 rounds a second all the way to 35 rounds a second. So I guess testing the RPS is kind of pointless. Let's go ahead and see what the FPS is at about 100 PSI. All right, not too shabby. 308.2 FPS with 0.88 joules. Let's do a couple more shots. 307.9. 309.8, 314.8, 310.3, 308.1, 312.4. So on average, basically getting about 310 FPS with just under 1 joule, about 0.9 joules. I'm curious what the factory setting is for the RPS. Let's go ahead and see what they set it at. All right, not too bad, about 20 rounds per second. And as you can see, once the BBs are out, it has a lock system, so you can't even shoot more BBs. Really cool feature. With this thing, I'm pretty sure the 50-foot headshot test is gonna be a breeze. Let's check it out. This is what this thing is made for. Yeah, that's just too easy. With this Wolverine system, the trigger feels amazing. I definitely was hating a little bit too much before I tried it. I don't know how to explain it, but everything just kind of lines up to where your eye level is, and obviously where the trigger is as well, and it just kind of just works.
but I wasn't actually expecting this to perform so well. It's actually pretty impressive, and I definitely see why a lot of people use it. And those are just my initial impressions. Let's go set up some more tests and see how this thing really does. This is a CKB airsoft gun after all, so let's start out at a measly 75 feet and see how it does.
But before we move on to the shooting test with the Article 1, we have a quick word from today's sponsor.
I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm an EP little guy, so it's perfect that this video is sponsored by Helix Sleep. And they're offering you guys an exclusive discount of 20% off your Helix mattress. All you have to do to take advantage of this special offer is visit helix.com/wagentertainment to get 20% off your Helix mattress. Make sure to go check out the Helix site for more details. Helix makes premium mattresses and bedding customized to your needs, and it ships straight to your door. And a little fun fact, I actually purchased my own Helix mattress about 2 years ago with my own money, of course, way before this video was sponsored. And let me tell you, I absolutely love this thing. I used to have a whole bunch of back pain with my old mattress, but after upgrading to Helix, it really helped solve my back pain. And to make it easy to pick the right mattress for you, Helix actually made a sleep quiz that matches your unique body type and preferences to find the perfect mattress for you. I like my mattress to have a medium feel, not too soft but not too stiff, and I'm actually a back and side sleeper, so I got paired up with the Helix Midnight mattress. This is seriously the most comfortable mattress I've ever felt. I've never had issues sleeping with this thing. The Helix mattress offers 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collections. The Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and the Helix Kid mattress, designed for growing bodies and endorsed by child sleep and medical experts. The Helix mattresses are shipped free inside the US and come rolled up in a box, and it's super easy to set up yourself. They also give you 100 nights to try it to make sure you love it. Plus, Helix mattresses have a 10-year warranty. They also offer financing options and flexible payment plans. So a great night's sleep is never far away. I've had my Helix mattress for over 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. And I think you guys would too. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix Sleep. You can simply click the link in my top description down below, or visit helixsleep/wagentertainment to get 20% off your Helix mattress. Make sure to go to check out the Helix site for more details. And before we go back to the video, I just want to thank Helix Sleep again for sponsoring today's video. Now let's go back to the video. Yeah, no issues at 75 feet with this one. You could still see some misses in a couple groupings right here off the target, but for 90% of the shots, they were all directly in the middle. You could easily still hit a headshot at 75 feet with this airsoft gun. Going back to 100 feet, let's see how it does. For the most part, most of the groupings are kind of off to the right or to the lower left, but still in a very tight little grouping as well, so very impressive. Despite such a small airsoft gun with a tiny little barrel. Haha, very nice.
For the finale, we tried one more test at 150 feet away.
I didn't really go for accuracy or precision, obviously, on that spray. I just kind of shot a whole bunch of BBs, but just kind of giving you guys a ballpark of what is possible.
The Article 1, despite its small size, has great accuracy and range. For casual play, this thing is pretty overkill, but for a proper CQB field or playing in a speedsoft tournament, I could definitely see why players have added this to their kits. The ergonomics are perfect for fast-paced play, and especially with the tank grip and this awesome engine, this is a great choice for a CQB gun. Before I shot this, I definitely thought it was an overpriced gimmick, but after using it for some time, especially on this speedsoft paintball field, I think there's a lot of use case for it, especially in competitive play. I'd say overall, it's not overrated if you use it for its intended purpose on the speedsoft field.
Next up is one of the ones I am personally most excited to test in today's video. This, of course, is from Crytek, and this one is their fully gas blowback Chris Vector. Oh yeah. In the box, it's pretty simple. You basically just get the front iron sight, the back iron sight, a rail system, of course the magazine.
These magazines are super expensive. If you want to get spares, each one is $48. But it's really nice they hold 60 rounds. This Vector is not a cheap airsoft gun by any means. This one comes in at $419.
Why is this one overrated or overhyped? Well, this actually came out this year. And in the past, there was some controversy about the KDBA Chris Vector, and unfortunately they lost their license to actually build them. them, so they no longer make them.
And during this time period, no company was making a gas-like Vector.
That is until Crytek came out with their own version. I actually cannot wait to see how this thing performs, and see if it lives up to the hype of the KDA Vector, or is it overhyped and they just try to make a quick buck. There's only one way to figure out. Let's go ahead and take this to the field and see how it does. All right, the Vector, baby. Let's see what this thing's chronographing at. All right, actually pretty hot out of the box. Looks like that first shot was 414.5 FPS with just under 2 joules. Definitely shooting pretty crispy for a gas-like submachine gun. But I do have to note today's temperatures are over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's definitely pretty toasty, making this thing maybe shoot a little bit harder than it normally would. Let's do a couple more shots and see if it remains a super high FPS. Yeah, that is crazy. 422.9 FPS with 2.08 joules. Couple more shots. 405.7. 398.9, 394.9, 398.5, and 387.1. So after a couple shots, it looks like it's cooling down to just under 400 FPS. And the joules remain to be about 1.7 to 1.8. Still definitely pretty crispy for a submachine gun, especially being gas blowback. Let's go ahead and put to auto and see what this puppy can do. Damn. All right, it looks like we're getting 21.7 rounds per second. One more little burst. And that time we got 20.9 rounds a second. So let's do the super fun 2-round burst on the Vector and see how it does. Super cool. Gotta love that 2-round burst function. Let's do some shots just kind of around some barrels and get the first impressions. Actually, really surprising, the kickback is very subtle with this thing. Most gas-like crazy guns like this have a crazy kickback and kind of interfere a little bit with your next shot, but this one is actually really stabilized. Just super easy to get shots down range, very good semi and mac response. You can get a whole bunch of shots down range super easily and very consistently. As you can see with the 50-foot shooting test, that was no issues whatsoever. We're just starting this thing out a little easy, 25 feet back from the headshot test. Let's see how it could still do. As you can see, we have a couple misses off the target with some inconsistent shots, but overall, very solid grouping on the target. Let's really challenge this thing now at 125 feet away. All right, that's definitely some mixed results. Let's get up to about 100 feet and see how this puppy does. But as you can see, the groupings are way better at about 100 feet than 120 or 130 feet away. It just basically proves that if you're gonna play with this thing outdoors at some outdoor ranges that have some range, I probably would leave this one at home. But if you're gonna play at more of a CQB field, I think this thing would be a perfect weapon of choice.
With the incredibly smooth cycling and a newly designed Crytek gas-like internals, you're able to shoot super smooth and accurately with ease. It makes getting a few precise headshots or even a quick 10 shots on the field super easy. And of course, it's a gas-like Vector. What more can you ask for? Honestly, I was expecting this to not perform so competitively and be more of a gimmick, but this one impressed me. If you could deal with that crazy price tag and you love Vectors, I'd definitely say it's worth it. The Crytek Crisp Vector is not overrated.
Next up in today's video, we have an airsoft sniper rifle. This is the Silverback Airsoft SRS A2/M2 Stealth Recon Scout Sniper Rifle. It's fully licensed by the one that makes the real steel SRS, Desert Tech. This is one of the most unique airsoft snipers you could possibly get on the market, and it definitely performs pretty well too. As you can see, it has won the Sniper Rifle of the Year from the Airsoft Players' Choice Awards a whole bunch of years in a row. I've seen these all over YouTube on people doing some gameplays. It's also rated from one of the top airsoft companies as the best sniper rifle. Well, the one thing I'd say is overrated is that price. This thing comes in at $650. So is it super overrated and super over expensive, or is it worth it? Let's go ahead and check it out. For ours, we actually opted to get the 22-inch version, as you can see right there. You get a super cool little silverback patch as well as some tools right there. You get the buttstock actually separated from the airsoft gun, not in the box, which is pretty interesting, as well as the actual full bolt system in the spring. Let's go ahead and take it out and see our first impression. Wow, okay, first up, this thing is way lighter than I thought it was gonna be. That's actually quite interesting. Whoa, spring just came out. Oh boy, that's not good. All right, first shot with the SRS. 251.6? No! What is wrong? 330.
I did a few more shots and it seemed to level out about 330 to 335 FPS. Definitely a little bit lower than what I would want, especially for one this expensive.
So overall, my initial impressions are the bolt's a little hard to pull back, but I think it was super hot today and some of the lubricant obviously got a little dry and probably made it a little bit harder to actually rack back. But once you get it right, it's actually pretty satisfying. The whole bullpup design and just how this thing feels in general, it's not too light, not too heavy. It's a pretty nice design. It's actually pretty cool. But I'm very curious to actually set up these crazy 2 hop-ups and see if this thing will shoot some pretty far range despite the little bit low FPS. So let's go ahead and set up our target way further away and of course set up the hop-up and see how it does.
So at first I was gonna shoot the traditional electronic target as always, but the wind was just so bad, so I set up a different test for this one. Because this is a sniper rifle, we set up a tiny little target 150 feet away. It definitely took me a few shots, but after sighting in the hop-up properly, we got a solid hit on it. Although the FPS isn't that impressive out of the box, the accuracy and range are pretty impressive. So we proved the accuracy is pretty good. For the rest of the test with the SRS, I just took some simple shots at 120 and 200 feet away to test the range and consistency.
The double hop-up system is a little weird to get used to, but if you have the visual pictures on hand, it's actually not too hard to adjust it on the fly. But obviously, if you're in an airsoft game and you can't use your phone or something like that, and memorizing all those different combinations can be a little crazy. So hopefully you have your airsoft sniper all sighted in before the game. As far as the actual precision and accuracy, it seems to be pretty good, but obviously it's a little windy today, so at that range, the BBs are definitely going to go left and right. But when the wind dies down, those BBs are definitely pretty stabilized.
I know you guys might be surprised by this one, but I thought the SRS was super cool and probably one of my favorite sniper rifles I've ever gotten to use. But for the price, I just can't back it up as the best sniper ever made. I'm actually going to have to put this one barely into the overrated category, unfortunately. The externals are super high quality. It also feels special when you handle it as well. And it shoots pretty decent out of the box, but for $650, I just don't see it. In my opinion, it's definitely one of the best sniper rifles ever created, but is it the best? I just don't think so, especially for the price tag.
Next up, the smallest package of the video. This one is a brand new release from this year as well. This is the Lancer Tactical Cthulhu Gas-Like Pistol. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad. This one actually comes in at a pretty steep price for a pistol. This one is $150. Ooh, but straight away, that's some nice packaging. Looks like we have a full test from the manufacturer, checking out the FPS. We have quite a bit of warning little paper in here as well. We also have a different kind of flash hider you can put on there. Some little O-rings as well to replace the ones that fail, I'm guessing. And of course, a little back iron sight replacement plate so you can actually put a reticle at the back right there. And last but not least, we have a little red anodized little piece right here. I actually have no idea what this is for. Maybe the magazine? No idea. But let's go ahead and take this out and check out what we got. Ooh, first impression, this one is actually really heavy for a pistol. Kind of feels pretty nice. As you can see, the main features with this one are obviously those crazy externals. All of those little red pieces are pretty cool. We have a little full skeleton red trigger, as well as an extended mag release right there, and a little thumb rest too when you're shooting. Pretty cool. And then of course, going up to the front, we have a super bright front iron sight, as well as a super bright outer barrel. It's like twisted and obviously has some improvements in it as well. But if you've seen lots of different airsoft guns, this is probably gonna remind you of one on the market already. And that's gonna be the AAP-01. As you can see, the magazine is pretty much the same. It's that Glock style. And of course, how you get the bolt back, this little system right here, is pretty much the same as the AAP-01. And of course, at the bottom of the bolt right there, it has the fun switch, so semi-automatic to full auto. Is this essentially just a overhyped, overpriced version of the AAP-1 with some red externals on it? Or is it a fully reworked and better pistol? Well, there's only one way to figure out. Let's take it to the field and see how it does. Whoa, oopsie daisy, I was on full auto. That's my bad. Damn. 416.2 FPS with 1.61 joules. That's pretty hot for a pistol. Okay, second shot's definitely a little bit more normal. 361.5 FPS with 1.61 joules. Then we got 352.4 and 353.9 FPS with 1.16 joules. So I guess about 350 FPS with a little over 1 joule. Definitely not too bad for a pistol. Now let's check out that RPS. Not too bad. 23.6 rounds a second.
I tried to do a few more full auto bursts just to see if we can get a average number, but unfortunately it started to have some issues.
That shot so fast I got jammed. Huh. It's looking like it's getting jammed. Interesting. Okay, we got 24.3 rounds a second, but it keeps getting jammed after a few BBs. That's weird.
I think the full auto is completely toast.
Yeah, it shoots like 3 to 5 BBs super fast and then just jams up. That's definitely not a good start trying to decide if this thing is overrated or not. First off, I do really like these additions for the externals. It does make it way easier to line up your thumbs and kind of do a really accurate shot. The kickback is definitely pretty stabilized. It gives you a little bit of a kick, but not too much. It's not too annoying, but it's not too soft where you don't notice anything. This is pretty much what you would expect from a pistol, of course, is 10 shots directly in the head at about 50 feet away. This little pesky hop-up wheel right there is like super stiff. Like, I don't know what's going on. I tried to adjust as hard as I could with my finger both ways and it didn't budge at all. And then I took a screwdriver and kind of forced it a little bit, maybe like a quarter of a turn one of the ways, and it started to do damage. Yeah, the hop-up is pretty messed up with this thing. I don't know what the heck is going on. It's either super stiff in the factory or just broken. We are 75 feet back, just 25 feet more than the actual headshot test, but let's see how this does. We still got a decent grouping actually on the target. We got 2 in the blue, 1 in the red, 1 in the black, a couple in the white, and a couple to the lower left of the target. Let's stretch the legs with this one and go back another 25 feet and still see if it can remain good accuracy at about 100 feet. All right, those are some horrendous groupings. Obviously, we can't really do much with the wind and this low-powered pistol with no hop-up, but I have some other ideas for some tests that suits this thing a little bit more.
In a CQB environment, this thing definitely shines way more than at range. It's able to shoot headshots at 50 to 75 feet. It has pretty decent trigger response and able to shoot 10 shots really fast, and of course shoot around a corner with ease. But with a price of $150 for what is essentially a 50% more expensive AAP-01 with some external parts added, I didn't really think the value was there. If you're in love with the looks, I definitely understand why you'd be interested, but for that price, I definitely think it should be performing a bit better. Overall, I'd say the Cholulu is overrated.
Next up, we're moving to the submachine gun category, and this is the Vorsk VMP-1. It comes in at just above $300 and is a fully gas blowback submachine gun. Quite the interesting packaging. I've never seen this before. That is crazy. Instead of having the stupid owner's manual where you have to like flip through the pages, I actually like this style where it's like a huge pamphlet. Well, what's in the box? Looks like we got lots of different stuff. Super cool. You have 2 full gas blowback magazines included as well. And on this side, you get one of the biggest suppressors I think I've ever seen. That is crazy. And then you also get some parts, it looks like. Maybe a extra blowback housing. I'm not sure what the heck they included that for. Maybe these actually like break a lot of the time and it's an extra one. I'm not too sure why they included that. And they have a cool little patch of the actual airsoft gun itself, and then a little flash hider as well. So first up, let's talk about these magazines. If you know your airsoft guns really well, you'll know that this thing looks a little familiar. And that's the KSC or the KWA MP9 magazine. Because essentially, if you of course look at the looks of this one, it does have quite a resemblance to that airsoft gun. And that's because it is pretty similar. The actual internals in the gas system are fully from the KWA/KSC MP9. This airsoft gun actually just came out this year, so it's basically brand new. It's actually been featured in quite some big YouTubers' channels as well. But is this just some overhyped body kit for the MP9, or is this thing actually better? Well, I guess there's only one way to figure out. Let's see what this is chronographing at. Ow. Whoever made this stock system, definitely not my favorite. Just super hard to like get out and forward. But a fun fact with it that's kind of funny is you can actually lock it into a 90-degree angle. As you can see, it's totally locked. So that if you want, you could like shoulder it and shoot around a corner like this if you wanted. Definitely not legal. It's on semi-mag when you see one little red dot. And of course on this side, if there's a couple different dots, that is a full auto mode. Let's go ahead and see how this chronographs. Whoa, that's pretty powerful, at least it feels like. Damn, shooting pretty hot too. 384.9 FPS with 1.72 joules. To really test it out though, let's do some more shots. 350.9 FPS with 1.14 joules. 349.4 FPS, 345.2, 344.7, and 343.2. So definitely pretty consistent, shooting about 1.1 joules as well. So I know that FPS is actually decreasing every shot, but that is actually pretty good. Only 1 FPS down per shot for a gas-like submachine gun. It's definitely not too bad. Now for the RPS. Damn! Alright, looks like this puppy is shooting even faster than the Crytek Vector. This one is shooting 25.9 rounds a second. Let's do one more burst just to see. Yep, that second burst was 24.5 rounds a second. All right, let's get into my first impressions with this for a little shooting test. My first complaint was actually the bolt system itself. Instead of being able to actually pull it back like in the upper position up here, like the MP9, you actually have to hold it on the sides and then you can pull it back kind of. So it's not the most ideal. I do like the kickback as well. It's pretty solid. It's not interfering with your shots by any means, but it's just enough to have fun. Very solid groupings at 50 feet. No issues for this one. Let's do a little bit farther and see how it does. Solid groupings at 75 feet. Not really a challenge for this submachine gun.
Now let's scoot back to 125 feet and see how it does.
Whoa. Whoa, what the? Whoa. So as you can see on the run cam, I mean, it's weird. Some of them like were floating so well to the target and then it almost looked like the hop-up just kind of like turned off midway through that session.
Alright, so maybe long range isn't this thing's specialty. Let's now see how this thing does on the CQB field. The iron sights are pretty nice to see, but for some reason I found them a little off. I mean, it was easier to hit the targets with the Crytek Vector without iron sights than this thing. Despite its weird trigger, the semi-mac response is pretty fast and it has a nice kickback. But overall, I'd say this thing could definitely have been a lot better. For essentially a KWA MP9 with a body kit, I don't think it's necessarily better than any existing MP9 on the market. It's a little cheaper if you get the package without the extra mag and the suppressor than the existing MP9s on the market, but I'd say considering everything, this VMP1 is overrated. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys agree with my opinions in the video. If you guys enjoyed this one, I know you're gonna like this one too. There is a personally recommended video just for you that YouTube thinks you should watch. Without further ado guys, that does it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.